Suddenly, age has caught up to us. The frozen eggs aren't enough. All the business trips, the promotions, the money we made, the degrees, the accomplishments, the well-traveled, cultured woman is lonely and sick and tired and exhausted of being alone. We grandly screwed ourselves over. We royally screwed ourselves over. Welcome back to the I'm a Mom podcast. This is Jenny Pan. I do have a bit of a sore throat, so bear with me. But remember how last time I said that we were going to finish the first season. We were going to finish the first season, which was about the mental transformation that women go through when they become moms. And we would dive into the physical transformation that women would go through. Well, I changed my mind. Surprise, we are going to go through something different. And it's really the intellectual and political transformation that women go through. Well, in this case, particularly me, but I really do think a lot of moms could relate. So this has been on my heart for a long time now. And I've been going back and forth of whether I should really talk about this, because I know 100% I'm going to offend and trigger a bunch of people, but probably also attract a whole bunch of others. And I just wanted to be open as usual, have an honest conversation, bring some things that should be surfaced, and really talk through things and help me process these thoughts, because I think it's healthy to have these discussions. But before I dive into that, I do really want to thank the listeners that I have had so far. This is a baby podcast right now. It is still super early days and no one really knows me except for you guys. I want to go through the countries that have been listening to this podcast. It has been such a surprise, but obviously the US of A is my number one country. Most people are listening from the United States. We've got Australia. We've got I think there's one dedicated person in Germany. So if you are listening right now, thank you so much. Really appreciate that somebody in Germany is listening to me. We've got Singapore, the UK, South Africa, Kazakhstan, and of all places, Iran. So thank you so much, you guys, for listening. I really appreciate it. Even one download, one episode. I'm glad I could reach you. And then of course, the cities, we've got Sydney, Dallas, New York, Red Bank, New Jersey. I think I know who that is, Hannah. And these locations are a little bit off, I think. So if you live near here, it's probably you. Bridgewater, New Jersey, Brooklyn, New York, Hackettstown, New Jersey, Chicago, Illinois, Jersey City, New Jersey, Edison, New Jersey, Frankfurt. This is my German listener. Queens, New York, Moorestown, New Jersey, Seattle, Washington, Tampa, Florida, Burbank, California, and a bunch of others. But those are my top locations. Thank you guys so much. Esther Moo, you are my number one fan, and I know you've listened to this one too, so I've named you on the air. Okay, so jokes aside, I also said that because this could be the last episode that you listen to, because I may really offend you. But my purpose is not to offend. I'm truly just thinking through some thoughts, and I think that it's healthy to do that. I'm not going to repeat myself, so here we go. So I told all of you guys in the first very early episodes that for most of my life, I was a very selfish, self-centered, narcissistic person, and I was obsessed with my career. And when I became a mother, everything kind of flipped upside down, and I couldn't believe the huge transformation that this was in my life, and how my priorities and my values have truly changed, and they continue to change more and more and more. It is a very self-sacrificial role to be a mother, to be a parent. And, you know, I thought for many years, especially when I was in my teens, obviously I didn't really think about becoming a mom at that point, but in my 20s, I really did think a baby or children were an inconvenience and were not a gift and were like a burden to women, especially their careers. So to me right now, that is such a disturbing thought. That is so disturbing. It is so untrue. And it is so wrong. I really think that line of thinking is highly toxic. So I just wanted to reel it back a little bit and look at myself and really reflect on where the heck did that come from? Why did I think? Like, who told me that having a baby would ruin my career, ruin my life? So let's just go backwards, okay? So I was thinking about all this and I did a bit of research, but this is based on me, and I'm a millennial woman. I'm in my mid-30s, so I think a lot of millennial moms could relate to me. So we all grew up with Barbie, and there are a lot of feelings surrounded Barbie in the women community and also the feminist community. And I have mixed feelings about her, right? I think she's awesome in the sense that she was such a pioneer in doing everything. There was skiing Barbie, there was basketball Barbie, there was Barbie doing pageants, there was Barbie being a lawyer and a girl boss, there was Barbie being a model and the beautiful woman that she was, and there was just Barbie was every single thing except for pregnant and mom Barbie. Like, I do not recall seeing a pregnant Barbie. I do not recall having Barbie with her children. And Ken was truly like this ignored, half invisible accessory. You know, he did not lead. He was not really a husband. He was just this kind of boyfriend who was way below her league. So, you know, she was skinny, blonde, blue eyes, successful, sexy. She had everything except for family. And, you know, yeah. Like, I love that she did so many things, and she maybe inspired us little girls to realize that we could really do anything in our lives as long as we put our heads towards it, but also as long as we were beautiful and skinny. So yeah, there is this kind of split love-hate relationship that we have with Barbie. And I'm not going to go further into the psyche. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not an anthropologist. I'm just kind of going through trying to answer my mystery question of who told me or what factors influenced me as I was a young woman growing up to think that having a family was not a priority, having a baby was a burden, and all of those things. So yeah, when we were growing up, we lived in a post-industrialized world. And I make that point because I feel like, you know, that city living, that urban living, post-industrialization, you are very much removed from the earth. You are very much removed from the core or the origins of any supply chains. You know, we don't garden, we don't make our own food. Everything is not from scratch. Everything has been loaded with pesticides and chemicals and, you know, mass farmed. And so, yeah, we don't understand nature. We don't understand seasons. We don't understand the primal nature of things, living things, including ourselves. And I kind of want to make that point because in a way, like, motherhood really kind of brings you into this primal intuitive mode that most women like myself who have grown up in a city environment, who have grown up in a very, you know, modern kind of environment, it was my first time understanding that about my own body and like, whoa, wait, I can give birth to a baby. I'm giving birth to a baby through my own body, and I'm going to feed this baby with my own body. And there are all of these amazing, truly miraculous physiological things that happen in our bodies to make that possible. So I wanted to touch on that point. I wanted to also touch on the fact that what have we seen our mothers do? And I can't speak for everyone, of course, but for me, my mom worked. You know, she always had a part-time job, and she was always studying. She was always furthering her education. So I loved that part about my mom. Obviously, the same way with Barbie. Like, my mom was going out there. She was getting these high education degrees. She has multiple master's degrees. She has multiple certifications, and she's really good at what she does. And I really respected and looked up to that. Like, when I saw my mom put her makeup on and put her like workwear on and go out and work, I was like, I want to be that, you know? And yeah, she was not a trad wife. She was not a stay-at-home mom, but she obviously did prioritize me incredibly a lot, and she did everything that I needed her to do. So, that's what we have seen. That's what I have seen, right? And then I really want to touch on, and this is huge, like, what is the culture that we grew up in? And I just started making a list of the songs, the movies, the celebrities that really stuck out, and things and songs that I still remember. And I think you could remember these too. So, Miss Independent, song by Neo. Britney Spears, she was huge. We were all obsessed with her. Christina Aguilera, she was obviously like the second best after Britney, or some people absolutely loved her too. I think she's amazing as well. And she had songs like Fighter, Beyonce. She was obviously, those were the big three. Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Beyonce. She sang a bunch of songs like Single Ladies, Me, Myself, and I, TLC, No Scrubs. We had extremely, in my opinion, a hyper-sexualized pop culture. Like the Black Eyed Peas, God bless them, and I loved them at the time. They came out with songs like My Humps. Truly, a song about boobs and butts. Okay, Chingy singing Right There. 50 Cent in the Club. Lil Jon and everyone else, Get Low. We all know that song. That's like an anthem that we all dance to. John Mayer, Your Body is a Wonderland. Khalees, Milkshake. Pussycat Dolls. So many songs from the Pussycat Dolls. Don't Ya, I Don't Need a Man. Justin Timberlake, Sexy Back. Neo, Sexy Love. Fergalicious by Fergie. Katy Perry, I Kissed a Girl. Mariah Carey, Touch My Body. Jeremy, Birthday Sex. Miley Cyrus, Wrecking Ball. Literally, she was naked. Everyone remembers this. She was naked on the music video, on the Wrecking Ball, basically making love to herself on the Wrecking Ball. Let me read you some lyrics to jog your memory of what it was like growing up as a teen when we were for millennial women. So this is I Don't Need a Man by the Pussycat Dolls in 2005. I don't need a man to make it happen. I get off being free. I don't need a man to make me feel good. I get off doing my thing. I don't need a ring around my finger to make me feel complete. So let me break it down. I can get off when you ain't around. I got my own life and I bought everything that's in it. So if you want to be with me, it ain't all about the bling you bringing. I want a love that's for real, and without that, no deal. And baby, I don't need a hand if it only wants to grab one thing. I feel brand new. I don't need a man. I'll make it through because I know I'm fine without you. Okay, so then we've got Black Eyed Peas, My Humps. A song about humps. I really love Black Eyed Peas, but some of the stuff they came up with is absolutely disgusting and vain. What you gonna do with all that ass inside them jeans? I'm gonna make you scream, make you scream, make you scream. They say I'm really sexy. The boys, they want to sex me. They always standing next to me, always dancing next to me, trying to feel my hump, looking at my lump. You can look, but you can't touch it. If you touch it, I'm gonna start some drama. You don't want no drama, no drama, blah, 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 blah. My hump, my hump, my hump, my hump, my hump, my hump, my lovely lady lumps. And so now, why are we shocked that we had Cardi B come out a couple years ago with a song that was literally about a vagina, right? Like, why are we surprised? Because these things don't come at you like, a truck flying at you at 100 miles an hour, because then it's like too much for people, right? It starts small. And then it just keeps escalating, like little bit by little bit. You've got, this girl band, and then you got the Pussycat Dolls. Then you get Miley Cyrus. Then you get all these girls kissing each other at the MTV Awards and the VMA Awards and whatever. Okay, so what are the movies that we watched? What were the big movies that a lot of women watched and a lot of girls looked up to? Moulin Rouge. We all knew about Paris Hilton, the icon that she was and continues to be in The Simple Life, Lindsay Lohan, Mean Girls, Grey's Anatomy, Legally Blonde, Mean Girls, Sex and the City. Obviously, this was for slightly older women at the time because us millennials were a bit young in 1998. But the show started in 1998 and then stopped in 2004. The Simpsons, Bridget Jones's Diary. This is the list that I have. Of course, it's not exhaustive, but as you think through, what did this look like? What did this sound like? It was hyper feminist. It was extremely feminist. It was giving off a lot of messages that were repetitive, and there is like a theme that strings them all together, and it was hypersexualized. So this is the message that most of those songs really gave. And it was be sexy, explore your sexuality, be independent, and successful. Do you guys remember that slogan that was very popular during that time? Women didn't really wear it, but I remember a lot of boys in my even elementary school wore it like throughout middle school. It was SMP. It was sex, money, power. I don't know what brand came up with it, but you guys, that's kind of what we grew up with. And so, yeah, again, I want to repeat it. Be sexy, explore your sexuality, be independent, successful. You don't need a man. Live that fabulous, glamorous life. Have fun, girl power. That was a message that we grew up with. So as I was writing down these songs, as I was kind of researching the singers and the other songs that they sang, and I specifically looked at my teenage years of like 2000 and 2003 plus onwards, and then into my early 20s, you know, it all was very vain. When you look at the first wave of feminism, I would call it like the original feminist movement. It was very much like women wanted to get the vote. It was very much about suffrage. And it was very much about access to education, access to citizenship, access to basic things that a human would need, both man and woman. Back then, I think it made sense. And I do not oppose that kind of equal access to things. However, what I feel like the feminist movement has become is definitely beyond being equals of men. Let us take a look at what did the feminist movement look like in the 2000s. In the 2000s, we had the Anita Hill hearings in the late 90s. There was a lot of talk about women being subject to sexual abuse by men who are more dominant than them, men who are in places of power. Sexual harassment in general, positive body image was becoming a thing. The Me Too movement actually apparently started in 2006, but it really was hitting the news big time when it grew in 2017. We all remember that. We were all adults in our mid-20s at that time, centering around the Harvey Weinstein files. The Women's March happened in January 2017. It was very much about gender, pay equality, LGBTQ plus rights and civil rights, affordable healthcare, environmental awareness, reproductive freedom, among many other issues that were seen as having, not enough support within back then, the first Trump administration. So back to the message that I was saying before. A lot of that pop culture, the society messaging that we got when we were younger girls was be sexy, explore your sexuality, be independent, and be successful. Sex, money, power. You don't need a man. Live that fabulous, glamorous life. Have fun. Girl power. So, to me, it sounds like we've totally gone beyond having the access of equal rights that men have. But I really think what it has become is let us become like a man. Go out and work like a man. Be strong like a man. Don't have babies. No. Have sex with whoever you want, whenever you want. just like a man, because when a man has sex with a woman, he doesn't get pregnant. He doesn't need to have a baby. That doesn't happen to him because he doesn't have a uterus and he doesn't have a vagina. So yeah, without the consequences, and push and ignore family values and having a family and children. Just do that whenever you want to, or really it's really not that important. That first and second phase was led by women like Susan B. Anthony. We all know her. Elizabeth Cady Stanton. But it just quickly went down that slippery slope, and it was not about being equal to men anymore. It was not about equal rights. It was literally the whole of us from head to toe. Be like men. At the same time, cancel the men because they're dumb. They're inferior to us. Look at the way that, The Simpsons portrays men. Dumb. Homer Simpson just sits on the couch all the time. He's overweight. He's drinking beer. That's what they all look like. They don't know. They don't know what they're doing. They're not educated. And actually, I think the sentiment now is that we are better than men. Men are inferior to women. And why is that bad? Why is that all toxic? I think it's incredibly toxic. The greatest loss, the greatest foolishness, absolute stupidity of the third and fourth waves of feminism that we now live in is that we lost ourselves. In our never-ending pursuit, the never-ending obsession to become like a man, to become a man, we completely lost it. We completely lost the plot. I don't know if I'm getting across to you, but we are not men. And yet we tried all these years to be just like them, ignoring the very nature of our being, who we are, who we were made to be. Then after we've achieved some level of success, right? Some level of, very high education, we actually start remembering, oh yeah, I think I'm like lonely. I think I want to get married. I think I do want a partner. I think I do want to have children. And then for some of us, it's too freaking late. It's too freaking late. And I was in that trap. I was totally scammed. Like the entire feminist movement of the third and fourth waves, I think is a complete and utter scam that is trying to rob and steal women that are young and intelligent. The dumbest lie on the face of the earth, that you do whatever you can to become just like a man. You do whatever you can to become a man. Just become a man. Just forget about your uterus. Forget about the fact that you can procreate, the fact that you can give life, literally give birth to a baby, a human being. Is that not significant? In my entire youth, entire upbringing from the public education system or in pop culture, has anybody celebrated a woman having a baby? Has anybody celebrated women being pregnant, having a family, giving birth? I don't recall. I do not remember that. I remember every time there was some TV drama or some movie, whenever some girl got pregnant, right? You know what the first response was? The immediate response? It was not, congratulations, yay, oh my God, you're having a baby, how precious. No. The response was, oh no, you're pregnant. No, that's like the worst thing that could ever happen to a young woman. Your career is going to be ruined. You watch all of these debates that Charlie Kirk has been having over campuses, and you see a lot of these super liberal, super progressive, very intelligent young women that come up to him and they really want to debate the whole abortion thing so hard. And they all say the same thing. It's my body, my rights. That baby is just a clump of cells and it's going to ruin my life. It's going to ruin my education. It's going to ruin my career. As if the education and the career and all of those lifestyle choices was way, way, way more valuable than your superpower, your unique, miraculous superpower and gift and calling to be able to have a child, to give birth to a new generation that will continue the human race. It makes me really angry. I feel so scammed. And I feel like a lot of women who are millennials, older and younger, feel super, super scammed. Like, we were not educated when we were young that family was important. We were not educated that when we were young, becoming a mom should be celebrated. That being able to have a baby was a miracle. Babies were devalued. Babies were dehumanized. Year after year after year, all of these past few decades, it's all about me. It's all about my career. It's all about me having fun, living a glamorous, fabulous life. And I totally fell for that. And it really like brings me to angry tears. Why? Why did we fall for this? It's so stupid. It's like, and it doesn't even make any sense. If you think that men are dumb and they're like Homer Simpson and they are like whatever, then why do you want to become a man anyway? Right? The entire feminist movement, it doesn't even make any sense. Like a lot of super left extremist things, it makes no sense. The math is not mathing. So no wonder women feel lost. No wonder we are so unhappy. The most unhappy type of woman, guess what? Pew Research from the American Trends Panel Wave, Volume 64. This was a survey released in 2020. The question was, has a doctor or healthcare provider ever told you that you have a mental health condition? Okay, mental health condition. Conservative women was like 20% and less. Moderate women has this graph, which I'm showing on the screen right now, like ranging between 20 and I would say like low 30s, and then it dips down as they get older. This is like the percentage of women who say they have mental health conditions. Liberal women, it is shot up over 50%, and yes, it goes down over time, but it is a huge difference. So what this is saying is that liberal women, typically the women who are extremely highly educated, who are going after success, who have multiple degrees under their belt and are pushing family and children behind and are very pro-abortion, are very unhappy, have a lot of mental health conditions. Listen, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm just telling you what the data is saying. And I'm not making up this data. It's just Pew Research Center. Don't shoot the messenger. Like, we don't really need to debate facts, right? So like in 2022, the 2022 edition of the General Social Survey, they reveal that marriage and family are strongly associated with happiness. Yes, marriage, parenthood is linked to the biggest happiness dividends for women. Among married women with children between the ages of 18 and 55, 40% reported they are very happy, compared to 25% of married childless women, and then just 22% of unmarried childless women. So like 40% reporting very happy, and then 22% of unmarried childless women saying that they were very happy. That's a pretty big, significant gap. So I'm just asking myself, and I'm asking you, why the hell are we screwing ourselves over and lying to ourselves until it might be too late? Marry a good man. Have kids. Prioritize that. Prioritize having a family. Becoming a mother is one of the best, most amazing privileges, the greatest privilege and honor I have ever had in my life. And I'm so proud of myself for. And only women can do that. Only women can carry a life inside their bodies and give birth to it, then continue to feed that life and sustain that life. I would have regretted it sorely for the rest of my life, if I continue believing that lie, this is my message to younger women. Working yourself to burnout, collecting the accolades, the endless degrees, getting promoted, getting rich, traveling the entire world and getting cultured, having sex with whomever you want, whenever you want, will not make you happy. I promise. I super promise you. It's all a lie. Good old Nancy, who got married and had children with a good husband, is way happier and way healthier than you. It's a classic. Write yourself a new story. Sometimes the oldies are the goodies, right? You don't need to make new stuff up. We don't need to reinvent ourselves. We don't need to try and be a man. Seriously, stop trying to be a man. Let's just stop that. Imagine if the third and fourth wave of feminism, instead of trying to preach to women that you should be a man, that you should just be like a man, imagine if it actually acknowledged a woman and the amazing superpowers that we have and the amazing abilities that is natural and unique to us only. Imagine if that was studied deeply, and imagine if that was what we advocated for. We would be so ahead of ourselves right now in this whole debate about maternity leave, paternity leave, baby bonding, the whole landscape of that would look so different. I swear. We have been fighting for the wrong things for such a freaking long time, and it's so frustrating to me. Why? Can we stop being so prideful and pretending that being alone, you're all okay being alone? In every other context, if you tell a woman oh my God, sisterhood, get your women together, go find a bestie, women need to come around each other. Everyone's yes, amen. But the minute you say, go and find a husband, go and find a good man, everyone's oh, we don't need a man. What is up with that? That is so wrong. If you're a Christian especially, you know how highly dependent of human beings we are. God literally said that 2 is better than 1 in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, 9-12. He said 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if 2 lie down together, they'll keep each other warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. So, if you are ever confused about your calling as a woman in life and your purpose, I think when you go up a few levels as a woman, you ask the person who created you. And if you don't believe in God, just look at your body, right? Nature tells us so many things. God literally tells us, go forth and multiply. It is good to have children. It is a good thing to procreate. Let's take it to the extreme. If every single one of us stopped having babies, we would end the human race. Is that a good thing? Truly, I urge you to go to a children's playground. And, don't be creepy, right? If you go to a children's playground and you sit there, don't look at your phone, don't listen to a podcast, don't listen to anything. It's amazing. You will hear nature. You hear the rustling of the leaves, and you hear the laughter of children. There is nothing purer than the laugh of a child. It is priceless. It is worth the sacrifice. I just cannot believe that I had been identifying as a feminist all of these years, because I do not believe that what we call a feminist right now is what it used to be. It is not what the original first wave of feminism was expecting, nor do I believe was what they desired. It's toxic. It's disgusting. We are not men. No wonder there is so much confusion about what the hell is a woman. If the feminist movement was true to its true core and really thought about what is a woman? What are our superpowers? Can we acknowledge ourselves? Can we accept ourselves? Can we love ourselves for who we are before we had this huge imposter syndrome, huge inferiority complex to men, and told ourselves for decades, be like a man, be a man. It's not it. It's not it. It's not it, and I don't want to feel it. I don't want you to feel it when you've frozen your eggs, you did all the hard yards, you did everything that you could, and you find yourself single, childless, without a family, and unhappy, because that is what the data is telling us. I know that what I'm saying is so harsh, and I know that a lot of women out there, including myself, I really didn't think I was single because I chose that. No, but there are these systemic trends and beliefs that have infected women and men for decades now that have brought us to where we are today. Men have been cancelled. We continuously say things like the future is female. Well, what about our husbands? What about our sons? What about our daughters' husbands? What about our son-in-laws? We should stop canceling each other, right? Male and female, equally important, so precious with their own gifts and their own abilities. Why are we trying to be like each other? It's bizarre. It's toxic. It's wrong. So this is where I stand.